What's up, everyone? Welcome to part 3 of the PSI and the PSR series. If you have not seen the first two, I highly suggest you go back and watch them. In this episode, we're going to be discussing some preemptive steps that you can take to make your federal sentencing a little bit less harsh, hopefully. Unlike a lot of the other prison consultants that are out there, I don't promise people the moon, take their money, and then split once the check clears. I don't promise my clients anything because at the end of the day, I'm not a federal judge or a federal prosecutor. If you find someone who does promise you less time, getting the institution of your choosing to do your time at, or something else like that, I would worry. Unless, like I said, they're a federal judge or a United States attorney. That said, not even a federal judge can tell the BOP where to send an inmate. Food for thought. I digress. Okay, so this section, we're talking about preemptive steps that you can take today to make your outcome better for sentencing. First off, you should compose a personal narrative before a meeting with the probation officer that would explain but not justify your current circumstances. You want to think of a way to take measures to establish any mitigating qualities that could help a probation officer or a court get a favorable impression of your overall character. Seek out community members who could provide character references and verify your contributions to the community. If you don't have any, volunteer at a local hospital or drug rehab. Chat up everyone that works there. See at the end of a few months if they'll write you some character references. Compile a list of references to back up any extenuating circumstances that led to your conviction. Demonstrate that you are much more than your criminal record suggests, because presently that's all the courts and the United States Probation Office has to go off of. You might want to keep track of your good deeds included in the final PSI report. Write a statement expressing regret and demonstrating your resolve to live as a law-abiding and productive citizen. Prepare your family and friends for the possibility that a federal probation officer will inquire about your character unexpectedly and potentially uncomfortably. You can research alternative punishments and formulate a strategy or a case to pursue the probation officer or courts that is feasible. For example, your profile might be improved by participating in some form of activity that indicates your suitability for less severe punishment. If your sentence is for fraud, perhaps you volunteer at a fraud prevention organization. If you're going to be convicted of drug trafficking, you can attend NA meetings or volunteer at a local drug rehab to see the damage your actions have caused your community and society as a whole. If you don't believe that's the case, who cares? It's not about what you think or believe. It's about what the sentencing judge and your probation officer think and believe. You can draft an alternative pre-sentence investigation report, which the defense counsel may submit to the court for review. This can be just as in-depth as the one the probation office does, but with your point of view this time. Begin your preparations by acknowledging that you must live in a world as it is, not as you wish it to be. Although a defendant may be new to the criminal justice system, the federal probation officer in charge of the pre-sentence inquiry is not, nor is the federal judge or anyone else in the equation except for you. Every day, federal probation officials deal with people who have been convicted of felonies. Because of these encounters, many probation officers are skeptical of whatever a defendant says, to put it mildly. If a defendant can embrace this truth, they can take proper action. This is why we will always advise you to document everything. Every individual will have their own set of criteria. Competent counsel may assist you in navigating the pre-sentence investigation. Defendants who are unfortunate enough to have lawyers who are uninterested in their case should be proactive. Hell, it's my advice for you to be proactive regardless, unless you want a few extra years for not putting in a few hours of work. Before they surrender to prison, they should understand everything they can about the system. Much of it you're not going to, but you can get a decent grasp on some of it prior to actually going in. If you're aware of what is to come, you'll be better equipped to envision the greatest potential conclusion in your existing circumstances. You will find that you're less stressed out and prepared for the next step. You should create a strategy that'll provide the desired outcome once you've defined the greatest potential outcome. Okay, so now let's discuss a little bit about the PSI and the report that follows it. Pre-sentence investigation reports are written in the same format by all federal probation officers. Information is gathered from the same sources by federal probation officials. They look at the charging documents, the prosecutor's notes, the court transcripts, and they listen to the prosecutor's version of events. They also may consider statements made by the defense counsel and the defendant to some extent. They will consider information provided by the victim, if applicable, or information received from people who have had personal contact with the defendant. The probation officer will almost certainly know the defendant's criminal history before meeting him or her. Probation officers will attempt to verify all of the information contained in the report. As a result, savvy defendants will avoid stating anything perceived as deceptive or lies. Doing so could result in extra criminal charges or sentencing increases for obstructing justice. I personally know of 2 people who got extra time, one 5 years, the other 7 extra years for this. The report will finish by recommending a suitable punishment for the judge to consider. In the next video, we'll be discussing some of the interview questions that you can expect from United States probation and how you should consider answering them and why they are asking them to begin with. In any case, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. Keep learning, growing, and staying safe.